Hello. Welcome to A Time to Think, Volume 04.06 Update 1. First I have to say that I recorded these, the initial, the videos that are up months ago, way back. And I watched them and I don't, more than once, I'm sure, and thought at some point, I could say that a little better. I could be more clear. Maybe I thought of a different way to say something, whatever. I make little notes. Okay. Record an update and talk about this, and my notes aren't extensive. So I'm looking at some of them and thinking, what? I'm like, I can't even remember what that volume was about. So I'll just kind of wing it, because I have watched these things and rewatched these things 1,000 times. And I think, some of them are, at least watchable. You might not think so, but I do. Maybe. I don't know. But I've watched them as much as I want and as much as I can stand. There's only so much of me I can take at a sitting. Anyway. So I'm not going to go back and rewatch and try to figure out what my update is supposed to be about. I'll kind of wing it. And see where that goes. Because I'd like to go ahead and take the next step, which is maybe after these quick updates, maybe start, recording the volumes or editions or however you want to think of it that I hadn't done yet. So, there's more to do. I'm not done. It's not like I'm just going to go back and, update some that exist and I'm finished. I've got more to record. I've got more to say. I'm sure you're tickled to death to hear that. Anyway, so 04.06 Update 1. I think I'm in 04.06. I talk about people who, call themselves Christian and then just really don't act that way. And my first, thing that came to mind was people who, drive around with, license plate says, "I'm saved," or "I am saved," or whatever. And they run you off the road. And they flip you off and they, whatever. I remember hearing a joke way back about, these police were trying to stop this car and it had all the, the outline of the fish, on the back and, all these, Jesus bumper stickers and so on and so forth. And they were driving all erratically and, the police tried to stop this person and the driver flipped them off and whatever. So they finally got the person stopped and the driver was like, "Well, why did you stop me?" And they're like, "Well, we saw all those Jesus bumper stickers on your car, and since you're driving so erratically and running people off the road and flipping everybody on the streets off, we assume that, you must have stolen the car." Because, see, that's how people act. They're, I'm a Christian. They wear the Christian Jesus t-shirts, and then they act like some of the most vile, disgusting people on earth. And not just that. Not just, they act like sharks, and just so not who they're proclaiming themselves to be. Sometimes it's just, it's not always so blatant. Sometimes it's just this just underlying current of hatred toward other groups of people. This just deep-seated hatred toward, gay people or this group or that group or the other group or whatever. They have no forgiveness. They don't in any way act like a Christian. So I beg you, anybody out there that says, I'm a Christian, or I want to be a Christian, or whatever, at least try to figure out how you're supposed to behave, and at least give a little bit more than lip service to that. I mean, don't, I'm a Christian, I go to church, hallelujah. Oh, shut up, you son of a blankety blankety blank, and finger, try to learn how to act. I mean, seriously, it's obscene. If you don't know enough to you call yourself a Christian, you don't know the first thing about behaving as one. Well, throw the t-shirts out. One person I will tell you about that I've actually had experience with. We'll call him Johnny Pooper. So Johnny Pooper is like a unpleasant kind of soul. And one day I just decided I'd find out more about Mr. Pooper. And somebody was like, oh, well, he goes to church over here at this place and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, he goes to church? Well, he kind of acts like a arse. And I mean a real major arse. And the person was like, oh, well, that's just who he is. I'm sorry. If everybody that knows you knows you're an arse, apparently the church thing isn't doing you a darn bit of good. I mean, you're supposed to treat people with love and respect, and well, maybe not respect. Well, maybe respect. I love, certainly love, and kindness, and be generous and be loving to a fault. But people look at you and say, God, that person's an ASS or whatever. Oh, but that's just who he is. Oh, well, you just have to forgive him. Just, that's just who he is. Well, that's not acceptable. That's not right. If you're a hind end and everybody knows it, ask people. Ask around. So, how do you think people see me? How ask your friends. Be honest with me. Do I come across this way or that way or the other way or whatever? I mean, and if there's like, well, sometimes you're kind of abusive or abrasive or this or that or whatever, maybe you could try just, I don't know, work on it. It's pathetic. But hey, that's life. You've got to deal with it. Anyway, that was it. Have a good one.